what is mindfulness? At the most basic level, it is experiencing the present moment as it is for what it is, right? And I wanted to share with you something that really kickstarted my whole mindfulness journey. And really, it was that first kind of big paradigm shift for my internal process and my internal self-work and growth. And it continues to be something that I will forever work on because it is a pattern that you can really easily fall into. And a lot of our society is just kind of programmed to fall into. And that is this idea of past, present, and future. Our mind tends to live in the past and live in the future. It kind of jumps from the present moment to past or to future, right? And so I made this little chart here. So we're born, right? And then we die. We have our life, this line, if you will, and time of that life has kind of been this construct that we as humans have built for this timeline, right? Past, present, and future, we're all built from that construct, right? Because all we really have is this present moment. All we have is this moment now where I'm talking to you, and then that moment is gone. Those words are gone, and we're on to a new moment. And so it's constantly refreshing into this fresh moment that you get to witness, you get to experience and connect with. But too often, we can get stuck living in the past or the future. I know personally, I've been so stuck for so long in my life, living in the future, and to no fault of my parents, to no fault, of the people who raised me and around me, and my own. It was just this programming of knowing that I needed to achieve good grades. I needed to go and do all the extracurriculars. If I wanted to get into a good school and a good college, I had to go to college. I had to get a career, get married, all these like check boxes that you think you have to reach, all these adulthood check boxes of buying a house, of, having that career that you can be really proud of and that looks good on paper. I don't know, all these things that are so future related. And if we get so stuck living in the future, then we're setting expectations for ourselves because we don't know what that future outcome is actually going to be. There are so many different future outcomes based on the decisions that you make in the moment. And so a lot of times you can get stuck building expectations for yourself without realizing it. And then those can sabotage you in the long run, right? Because you get to that future and you realize they're not meeting the expectations. You're attached to the outcome of what you thought it was going to be like, and you can't enjoy that present moment. You can't connect fully with what is there in front of you and see what there is to be grateful for in that moment, or the opportunities or the doors that are opening for you and for your true purpose, because you're so clouded by the future and what it was supposed to be, right? And on the opposite spectrum of that, we can live a lot in the past. We can be resisting the reality that we are being presented with because it didn't meet those expectations, right, that we set for that future that is then becomes our present moment and then becomes the past. They all kind of work backwards, but we get stuck resisting the reality because it's not to our liking, right? We face this reality, this present moment that's in front of us. We don't like it, so we resist it. And then we feel guilty or disappointment, or we get attached in a sense to the past decisions that we made. And why couldn't we have made a different decision? Or why couldn't it have been different? Why? But it's already done. It's already the past. It's already is what it is in the present. And so if we get so stuck in the past and going in circles and letting those thoughts really run us into a rabbit hole of what could have gone differently, you're going to be stuck living in that emotional state of why couldn't this have turned out differently, and what kind of place is that to be? That's resisting what is being laid out in front of you in this present moment, right? If you're living in the past, you're not being open, you're clouding yourself and closing yourself off to what is being presented to open up the future for you, right? And so the present moment is really all we have. It's all we have. And it's about this acceptance of the present moment and what we're being faced with, our life circumstances, of what each moment is offering. It's accepting that this is what it is. What can I learn from it? What is this trying to tell me? Where is this trying to lead me? Who's this trying to connect with? What can I be grateful about in this moment? And all of this is coming down to having a choice in each moment, right? You can choose in the present moment to keep clinging on to that what ifs, or you can let it go and flow a lot easier with what's ahead, right? Or you can meet the present moment with a choice of holding on to all these expectations of the future, or releasing it and being open to all the possibilities and the choices you get to make each moment to decide what future you want to create, right? And that can come down to the power of manifesting, creating your own life and the life you desire, right? That can go into a much deeper topic. And before I go too long on this, I just wanted to quickly break this down and let you know that become aware of this, because a lot of people aren't aware of this. This is a paradigm shift that we have to really kind of realize that we're living in first before we can even break this down and understand like why we're living in that way, right? I was programmed just to kind of overachieve and I became very dissociated with the present moment because I was always living in the future. And as soon as I realized that this present moment is where we're at, and I have been living in the future, I've been able to just shift so much ease into my life and meeting it with less resistance. And that creates a happier life, a happier you, right? So if you have any questions about any of this or want to talk deeper on this, reach out. I would love to chat with you and talk more about maybe how you may be repeating patterns of the past or living in the future, and how you can more deeply tap into this present moment.